You know, the Guardians of the Galaxy were always a pretty obscure team in the comics, right up until their first movie in the MCU became this breakout success. And since then, none of their characters are more merchandise able than the walking tree man himself, Groot. He's the hero who stole our hearts with just 3 words. And we've seen him do some incredible things, sacrificing himself for his friends, dancing as a baby, even helping forge a god-killing axe. The MCU's Groot is definitely a powerful and cherished hero. But what if I told you that the Groot we see on the big screen is just a fraction of what he is in the comics? That the hero we know is just the starting point? The Groot from the comics isn't just the team's muscle. He's a cosmic force, a monarch from a royal family, and his power escalates to a level that is honestly just insane. So today we're going to dive deep into that power gap between the MCU's Guardian and the comics' cosmic powerhouse. All right, so let's start with the Guardian we know from the movies. In his adult form, he was the team's muscle and its heart, and he was a pretty formidable warrior. We saw him take down a whole squad of Ronan's Sakaran soldiers like it was nothing. His durability is no joke either. He can take gunfire and heavy impacts. One of his most defining abilities is how he can manipulate his body, right? Extending his limbs, making shields and weapons. We saw him push that to its limit when he formed that protective sphere to save everyone from the Dark Aster crash, a sacrifice that really defined him as one of the MCU's greatest heroes. And, of course, there's his regeneration. After that sacrifice, Rocket was able to take a single twig and regrow him. This gave us Baby Groot, then Teen Groot, and finally the more built Alpha Groot from Volume 3. Now, this process wasn't instant. It happened over the course of a few films, but this version was strong enough to form the handle for Stormbreaker, a weapon from the heart of a dying star. These are all impressive feats for sure, but as strong as he is, this is pretty much where his power tops out in the movies. Now, hold on to that image of the MCU's hero, because as we cross over into the pages of Marvel Comics, you're about to see that what we witnessed on screen was only the first layer. The comic book version of Groot starts with all those same abilities, but dials every single one of them up to a staggering degree, before adding powers that are just completely off the charts. Okay, let's start with the basics. Strength. In the comics, Groot is in the in excess of 100 tons class, putting him up there with some of Marvel's heaviest hitters. His durability is even more absurd. His hide is so dense it's practically immune to most conventional weapons. But the most glaring difference is his regeneration. The MCU Groot needed a cutting to be planted and carefully regrown over months and months across a few films. In the comics, Groot can regenerate from a single splinter, often in just minutes or hours. It makes him functionally immortal and almost impossible to put down for good. Then there's his intelligence. The MCU plays his I am Groot for laughs, suggesting he's simple. Well, the answer is a little bit complicated, so let me break it down. In the comics, this is a biological trait of the Flora Colossi. Their vocal cords are so stiff that almost everything they say sounds like I am Groot. But it's a complex language, and what most people hear isn't what he's actually saying. In reality, Groot is a genius. He comes from a royal line on Planet X and has a royal education, making him incredibly knowledgeable in advanced sciences. And his control over plants, what the comics call chlorokinesis, is on a whole other level. MCU Groot grows his own limbs. Comics Groot can command all plant life. He can grow entire forests out of nowhere, animate trees to fight for him. He basically commands entire ecosystems. He even once used his powers to heal one of the elders of the universe, the Gardener, by purifying him of a poison, which just shows his abilities go way beyond simple fighting. And this is where the power gap becomes truly insane. In the comics, Groot has been exposed to cosmic forces that have just elevated him to a godlike status. The biggest example is when he submitted to the Black Vortex, an ancient artifact from the Celestials that unlocks a being's ultimate cosmic potential. The result? Groot got breathtaking cosmic powers. He could fly, generate a bioorganic furnace in his chest to breathe fire, and manipulate his size on a planetary scale, literally growing big enough to dwarf planets. He could even teleport across the universe. For a while, he was one of the most powerful beings out there. But even that isn't his peak. In the Mech Strike, Monster Hunter series, Dr. Doom used a magical artifact to turn himself and other villains into giant monsters. To fight back, the Avengers assembled and Groot essentially absorbed their combined powers. He transformed into this kaiju-sized fighter who went toe-to-toe with a cosmically empowered, giant-sized Doctor Doom and won. Think about that. Groot became a living, sentient battlesuit for the Avengers. Because comics. We're about to get to Groot's final, most terrifying form, and trust me, you are not ready for it. If your mind is already blown by the thought of a planet-sized fire-breathing Groot, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss our future deep dives into the insane powers of your favorite heroes. If you thought everything up to this point was a huge leap, this next part takes it to a whole new level. In the 2023 Guardians of the Galaxy series, we saw the final stage of a Flora Colossus's life cycle, GROOTSPACE. And this isn't just another power-up. It's a fundamental transformation. Groot evolves from a living tree into a full-blown, eldritch cosmic entity. A process called Grootfall begins, where he expands and just consumes everything, ships planets' entire star systems, and assimilates them into his own being. He becomes a multi-planetary consciousness that dwarfs guys like Ego the Living Planet. But it's not just destruction, it's an act of rebirth. Inside this GROOTSPACE, all the life he consumed continues to exist. He basically becomes a living galaxy, holding all that life, until one day he blooms and reseeds life across the cosmos. This elevates Groot from a brawler to a literal force of nature. He isn't just a guardian of the galaxy anymore. He becomes the galaxy itself. So let's just put it side by side. On one side, you have the MCU's Groot, a super strong regenerating hero who is the absolute heart of his team, a character we all know whose loyalty is legendary. On the other side, you have the Comics Groot, a super genius monarch who can regrow from a splinter in minutes, command entire planets of flora, become a planet-sized cosmic being at will, transform into a living battlesuit for the Avengers, and whose final form is a galaxy-birthing eldritch god. The power gap isn't just insane, it's a difference of cosmic proportions. The hero you see in the movies is, when you look at his full potential, just getting started. So, which version of Groot do you find more compelling? The loyal guardian we've grown up with on screen, or the reality-warping cosmic king from the comics? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching.